Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Gaynor.
I'm Office Bloke Aidan.
I'm Sophie.
Okay, what we're going to do is a video that I've already seen.
Oh.
I don't like doing reactions to stuff I've already seen, but I have already seen this because we did this with the Office Blokes.
Okay.
Now, for me, I enjoyed the video for a few reasons. I won't tell you what it's all about because you don't know anything what this video is about.
No.
Right?
No.
So, the title is The Night Osama Bin Laden Was Killed. So what it is, it's kind of a reaction. It's at a baseball game, and the word spreads that Osama Bin Laden's been killed.
Oh, right, I thought,
right?
Okay.
So it kind of gives you the patriotism effect of what it means to many Americans.
Okay.
So when you're ready, Aid, press go.
Many people around the world.
If you've got any questions, it goes.
We had a division rivalry between the Mets and the Phillies. The ballpark was full. It was a really lively atmosphere, but you know, at the time I just thought I was sitting down to do a regular baseball game.
We didn't know what was going on, we just knew something special happened. And I don't know how to describe that when you don't know what's going on, but you know it's special.
The afternoon was spent on pins and needles. I wasn't watching sports that night.
Another packed house here at Citizens Bank Park and an awfully nice night for a ball game here in Philadelphia. The New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies, Sunday night baseball.
One thing I want to point out is Philadelphia fans in any sport are probably some of the most passionate, craziest fans out there, vociferous. Everything about a Philly fan is all about
Why do I
sport
feel
and
like
passion.
that's in not just based, that's in other sports as well, like
I'm talking
American
about
football.
That's what I'm talking about Philadelphia.
American football, they always see
everything. American football, baseball, ice hockey, darts, chess. Philadelphia. If Philadelphia had a world chess champion and he lost, they'd burn the city down.
Great.
But this is plus it's like kind of like a local game as well because you have got New York playing against Philly. So New York Mets playing against Philly. Yeah, so it's kind of like not a derby, but very close to each other.
How long does a baseball game last? Do you know?
About 88 days.
Is it long?
It's 9 innings.
Is it long?
9 innings each. Yeah, it's a few hours. Yeah.
Because it's just said it was like 8:10 then at night.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It was for the last
So it
couple
could
of hours.
could already be in the
quite
in the
late,
game.
isn't
Could
it?
be already inside the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Might have already started, but you know it's. But what you've got as well is the difference between Philadelphia and what's happened when the Trade Center went down was New York as well.
Right.
So that kind of game means a little bit. I'm not sure how many Mets fans you'll have at this game, but again, very close in proximity, Philadelphia to New York City as well. So, but Philadelphia fans are just out there.
Passionate.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a rivalry when a New York team and a Philadelphia team get together.
I think for the most part we respected one another, but I think certainly we didn't like each other.
When I was wearing red and white pinstripes, I couldn't stand orange, black, and blue. I just couldn't.
The Mets-Phillies rivalry, it's based on proximity. There's a little bit of a big brother, little brother issue going on, I think.
It's always extra special, obviously. That rivalry was always electric atmosphere.
Even in our production meeting prior to, I remember someone making the point that this is the only show in town. And by that, I mean really the only major sporting event going on across the country. And that's not often the case.
An 0-2 count on the lead. On the swing and a foul tip held by Paulino. Lee strikes out. One down.
Watching the game, we have monitors here, watching Twitter on the laptop, and the White House reporters that I follow, they started talking back and forth about the president has called a news conference.
Our news editor, Claire Smith, passed a note along at some point to me, POTUS news conference tonight. To me, honestly, you know, I'm locked in on what's going on in the field. I'm not even factoring in what this could mean.
And Young strikes him out as the Phillies leave the bases loaded here in the 7th inning. It was a one-run ball game, the tying run was on base, and Ryan Howard's coming up, but all of a sudden you become aware of something else.
I looked down at my phone and I got a text from a buddy who always watched games, and he said, they got Bin Laden.
Bobby nudged me with his elbow and showed me his phone. You know, this isn't in the play-by-play handbook. They don't tell you how to deal with this one.
There were rumors that Osama Bin Laden had been, the United States had got him and that they'd killed him.
Tom Archer, our producer, right away said, we're trying to corroborate it. Don't say anything yet. We're preparing a statement. So you try to put it out of your mind for a second, and you keep calling the game.
They've only got 2 hits in this game. They've got 3 hits in this game. Mayberry getting the wave. The throw from Bay, not in time, and the Phillies have tied it.
When we understood what was happening and that this was less a rumor and more fact, we said we're going to bring the announcers on camera at the end of the 8th inning.
Ground ball to second, inning over. Some breaking news for those of you who have been with us on the ball game. ABC News is reporting that Osama Bin Laden has been killed, and a presidential news conference is upcoming momentarily.
I think thereafter, we had our eyes open for when that bit of news was going to find its way into the 40,000 plus people who were at Citizens Bank Park.
Top of the 9th, you're going into the last innings there of the game, so it's 11 o'clock at night. It gives me goosebumps when I watch this. It's because it's such a significant part of our lives. You know, what year were you born, Soph?
95.
So you were young when 9/11 happened.
I don't remember it happening, really, no.
You weren't even born, Aidan.
No.
But it's such a significant part of our life growing up and being in that area as well where it happened.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I think when the announcement of the most wanted man in the world comes about,
and it's
imagine it's sort of like it's quite emotional for a lot of people in the world, especially those that were affected by it, sort of thing. So
yeah,
I guess the announcement's going to start spreading around the stadium.
At the very beginning of the 9th inning, my now wife, fiance at the time, just happened to be on her phone, I guess. It wasn't the most entertaining game for her.
On CNN, an article popped up about, it's not confirmed yet, but it looks like Bin Laden has been killed. And then, I turned to my fiance and said, hey, look at this is something.
My friend next to me, she suddenly lets out a, oh my God, we killed Bin Laden. After that, everything changed.
Got a chant of USA as the news goes through the crowd.
There were 2 events going on at once. One was a baseball game, and one is a hugely significant world event, which people, one by one, are finding out about around the ballpark.
Once the word started to leak out, we were told to find people sharing cell phone information with people beside them, find people that were excited, jumping up and down. That night, it was pretty easy to find good shots.
That's when I decided to pull out my phone. It just kind of struck me as this is like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of moment.
There's no place in the world right now where there are more Americans gathered than in that ballpark. And they were all experiencing this rush of emotion simultaneously and spontaneously. The players, of course, had no idea what was going on.
Very rarely do you hear USA chants.
He'd probably go into it here, but he's saying, they're hearing chants going on and they're looking on the field thinking, what's happened? Probably not even thinking anything like this.
Yeah.
They're just hearing this and, thinking it's not me because I'm, they're not chanting for me, especially if he's a Met.
Wouldn't be a USA chant either
No.
if both teams are from the USA.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it make sense?
Yeah. So they're probably wondering what the hell's going on. Just scroll back a little bit to start this guy again.
Experiencing this rush of emotion simultaneously and spontaneously. The players, of course, had no idea what was going on.
Very rarely do you hear USA chants break out, out of nowhere. So it's kind of just a a bit of a state of confusion, then you get locked in for your at-bat.
And I'm thinking, what national team's playing and who they playing and who they beat?
Was there a soccer game going on? I thought maybe there was a hockey game going on. I was confused, and it kind of took me off of what I was doing.
Just missed outside of the knees. And a base runner for the Mets here.
The guy just threw that 95 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Well, it was crazy that he walked him anyway, but we'll talk about the rules of baseball in another video.
Ninth inning and a 1-1 tie. Wright is running and steals it. Let's go down to field level with Wendy Nix. Wendy?
Well, Dan, you're exactly right. As word begins to filter through the ballpark about Osama Bin Laden, the players, at least in the Phillies dugout, are clearly unaware. They don't have the same devices that we have. I was directly adjacent to the Phillies dugout. They're looking at me, and they're looking at each other, and they're looking at their manager. And the obvious question, do you know what's going on?
And here comes the USA chant again.
We didn't know what was going on. We just knew something special happened. And you're in an out, but you're in an in. You're a part of it, but part of what?
Jason Bay is going to be the batter.
I got no idea what's going on, and I'm Canadian, and I'm thinking, I've been called a lot of things, especially in Philly, but the USA thing, they're trying to get under my skin.
2 on, 2 out. Bay the batter. Tied at 1 in the 9th inning. In the air to center field. Inning over.
Everybody's coming into the dugout, and we're all kind of looking at each other, and obviously the chants are still going, and we're sitting there going, okay, what's happened here? And the trainer kind of breaks the news to all of us.
That's kind of how it spreads, is by that word of mouth. Obviously, no question, the baseball game becomes secondary to, the news and the president, addressing the country, a few minutes after that.
The White House has just announced that the president will address the nation about 1 minute from now.
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. What we remembered right away was the chants that we started hearing outside the White House. And my working assumption is that if people had gathered that quickly outside of the White House, chanting USA, USA, that across the country, the same thing was taking place.
And that's a strike away from victory. Got him. The breaking ball to get him Mayberry, and finally the New York Mets hang on to beat the Phillies 2-1 tonight.
Here we are, a team from New York, a team from Philadelphia, rivals, playing one another, trying to knock each other's teeth out, but the game isn't that significant anymore.
It's weird, just being able to high five and hug Phillies fans and have that common ground. Fans you're supposed to be enemies with. All of a sudden, it became a moment of celebration, a moment of pride.
For one night, it wasn't Philadelphia, New York, it was the United States of America coming together. That's something special.
This episode is brought to you by...
Yeah, so it's kind of emotional, isn't it, when you see things like the way they react. Like they were saying there, it's kind of weird. That was the only sporting event going on in the USA that day. Don't know when it happened, but Obama always Barack Obama always carried himself very well, didn't he?
He's very
like
like very well spoken.
He's like the proper high level politician when it comes to it around the world. When you look at world leaders all over,
he's relatable.
Barack Obama seems to be that one that's not like, for me anyway.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain politicians where you look at them and think, but Barack Obama was one of them. When he come out, he was always polished and you know, you knew what to say. You were comfortable with him. I would say.
Yeah.
But that's
Like I say, you could relate to him.
Yeah.
You could relate to his family. He had a young family.
But great seeing the emotion there that was going through the stadium and the fans. Sort of like seeing that, and you see what people were doing when they were gathering outside the White House as well.
Yeah.
Going through all that and chanting the USA and like I say, emotional for one of the world's most. How often do you see someone celebrated like that who's just been killed?
Yeah.
Never.
You know, it meant a lot to a lot of people to get him off the face of the planet, didn't it?
Yeah. Clearly.
Yeah, good video though, right?
Yeah,
it was quite good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Don't forget like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers.
Bye.